How's it going, everybody?
Hi.
I said take off your helmet so we could see your face. I didn't say strip down all your armor.
Why not? We're staying inside anyways.
She made us armor, by the way. We have full nano. And it only took, a week to get her to make the night vision goggles for the helmet. You gotta love her little vampire teeth she has because she looks like a little kid looking underneath her helmet. You can see her eyes poking out underneath the bottom. Anyways, I know it's been a little while since we did a video, but we wanted to make sure that this system was working right, and it took a lot to get it set up. So this is our old system for making plastic. We added this here for getting naphtha cells. These are a great way of getting you not having to make a canning machine. You can just make these GT++ tanks, and if you use the ultra low voltage one, it doesn't take a cell, but you can't make those until you have an assembly machine. But it doesn't allow you to pull the full cells out, but you can put a hopper underneath them, and then it will. See, down, we moved our elevator, I can never remember that. Down here, you'll see I have one right here, and right behind that paper there, we have a hopper, and that pulls our oxygen cells out of here. I'll get it out of your way so you can show them. We now have a oxygen tank, sulfuric acid tank, nitrogen tank, an empty tank that's waiting, another one that's being constructed, and this one is hydrogen back here, which we have very little hydrogen, but that's because we're trying to do it without doing the water thing. And so this is the setup that we've been working on. I will do my best to explain it the best I can. It is making nitrogen from air. I don't really like it, but it's what we have to do at the moment. Once we get to a vacuum freezer, then we can do it the other way, which will also give us hydrogen, if I remember correctly. Compressed. Alright, so compressed air cell. You might want to look this recipe up and follow along, because I'm going to go through what it's doing and then I'll show the machines.
I can't type today.
Okay.
Compressed.
The first thing, to make a compressed air cell, you need to put an empty cell in a compressor. By the way, if you're going to set up this system or one similar to it, be ready to make a lot of cells. I think we made 6 or 8 stacks.
I think we've made almost over 10 stacks by now.
And we still need at least 1 or 2 more. So, empty cell into compressed air in a compressor. That's the machine I'm standing in front of here, which I'll show you when we get out of the NEI here. Compressed air cell you want to put into a canning machine that will pull the air out. Then the air goes into a centrifuge. That's where we're getting our oxygen cell and our nitrogen. You get a lot more nitrogen than you do oxygen, hence why we have a full nitrogen tank and not a full oxygen tank. And then your nitrogen, which you are going to need some for making these glowstone silicon fuels, which they will be called soon. since they're actually a buell, not an ingot. But what we're doing with it is putting an oxygen cell with it in a reactor, making nitrogen dioxide. The nitrogen dioxide will then need to go into a canning machine to give you a nitrogen dioxide cell. That you're going to actually need for 2 different systems, which we're working on this system right now. The one we actually have built is this one. This is 4 nitrogen dioxide cells, oxygen cell, and water to get nitric acid. Now, the nitric acid you can also use in another system as well. I'll show you that in a minute. Also, if you want, you can use this to make rocket fuel. High voltage chemical reactor for the rocket fuel. And then that's a way for you to get water cells also. Why in the hell does that say shift? Huh. All the Greg Tech ones don't, but for some reason the Industrial Pack one does. But anyways, nitric acid is the main thing we're trying to get here. This is the other system you can use nitric acid for, which is putting sulfuric acid with it and making nitration mixture that you can use for making industrial TNT eventually. But what we're doing with it is this one in the chemical reactor, using it to purify pentylandite or chalcopyrite. Chalcopyrite is what we're using at this moment. And the nice thing about this is not only do you get this platinum group sludge, which we'll talk about in a second, but you get 9 of the blue vitriol, which when you put it in an electrolyzer gives you 1 copper. So for every purified chalcopyrite or crushed ore you get 1 copper out of it. You lose the iron, you lose the sulfur, but you get more copper. And then you also get sulfuric acid out of this and another oxygen cell. Now if you hit backspace crazy, go back to the platinum group sludge. You need me to wait a second.
Yep.
While she's doing that, I'll flip over here. The tiny platinum group sludge, you can just turn it into platinum group sludge. I use a packager for it normally, but you can do it in a crafting thing. But then you take that, you put it in a centrifuge, you're going to get silicon dioxide, which is not a major need, but you're also going to get a tiny pile of gold, platinum, and an 80% chance at palladium, iridium, and osmium. Those are 60 instead of the 80. This is a way of getting palladium to save you on your platinum when you're making carbon mesh, and you get a much better return from your palladium. Now the problem is that you have to go through the hot ingot thing in a blast furnace to make your palladium now, so you can't do this until you get a blast furnace. But if you extract it, you get 90% raw carbon fiber rather than 50% with platinum. So now I'm going to try to explain this system. This is a compressor. Cells are coming out through this pipe into the canning machine. The compressor is set with a screwdriver to output, allow input. So it's automatically going out, coming into here. This is full, so it's just going to sit here. There's a conveyor module on this side, which is also set to import, allow export. That way those two cells just bounce back and forth. So that's a closed loop right there. Then the actual air is coming out the auto output over here. We always do auto output for fluids. That way Crazy doesn't have to make pumps. Conveyors are a lot easier. I think they're a little more expensive, but they're easier, less crafting steps. And then here's the centrifuge that's making the nitrogen from the air, and it will need empty cells. Now what we're doing for that is the nitrogen is going down this bluish purple colored pipe here, auto output. There's a cover up here on this pipe that is taking them into this ultra low voltage tank, which is making the oxygen out of the cells, and then they are going right back, which somehow they worked on this one because there is a conveyor on this one that's pulling them. On that one down there, I couldn't get it to work. Maybe it's got a specific side it has to come out of. I'll have to play with that and see. I forgot about that when I set that one up. Anyway, so the oxygen goes, this is a closed system here for the cells. They fill up, they go over there, they empty, they come back. Nitrogen goes down there, oxygen goes down there, and the nitrogen then comes back up here into this chemical reactor. That's this pipe right here that you can see running underneath here, and it also comes off right here. I had it turned off. Oh no, never mind. That's keeping the oxygen and nitrogen from mixing. Wrong place. I had it shut off for a while. So then nitrogen, oxygen, empty cell gives you your nitrogen dioxide, which is coming straight down here to this fluid canner, which is canning it up. And then let me knock this paper off of here so you can see this. What we have here is a kind of complex system, and it's kind of convoluted, but it's working, which is what amazes me. So this one here is inputting oxygen cells. This one here that's running on the other side of it, this one here, is doing empty cells. And we need empty cells back here at this chemical reactor as well. So we have both of them connected, along with, if we go down here, it's coming down here and picking up the empty cells from the oxygen cells when they get emptied. Or, excuse me, when they get filled. So all of that is running through these two pipes. The nitrogen dioxide is coming out of this one. It's running back to this one. This one again has the thing set on it so it can input and output. That way the empty cells come right back. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, this one here is also outputting both fluid and cells down to this one. That way all the empty cells from here go directly here. So then your nitrogen dioxide and oxygen cells, the oxygen cells are coming from the tank downstairs. There's our nitrogen dioxide that just popped in with the water, and that's making the nitric acid here, which you'll see pop in here in just a second. This one's kind of slow. So then that's coming out this top pipe here, coming around to here, This chemical reactor is what's doing the nitric acid and the chalcopyrite. Conveyor module to pull out the platinum group sludge, which you can see we have almost 3 stacks now of the tiny dust. The blue vitriol comes up here. You get exactly 9,000 units, so 9 buckets worth, which is exactly what you need to run one through. So that's how you get the 1 copper. And then the cell and the copper are coming out. Copper is coming here for now. Eventually there will be a conveyor module on here that'll take it over to the periodic table, but for right now it's just sitting here. And then those empty cells are getting rammed back underneath into this system that's doing the empty cells and the nitrogen dioxide. Now, to keep this from messing up, there's a restrictor pipe right there. And this is restricting this pipe from letting any oxygen cells in, letting any nitrogen dioxide cells through. So only the regular cells are able to go through this area. It was a goofy fix, but it worked. I was hoping I wouldn't have to use filters for it, and I apparently got lucky and don't. And we need to use that scanner. Thank you. Is it all charged up? Yes, it is. We have 2 scanners today.
Would I give it to you if it wasn't charged?
Yes, you would.
Just to say, no, you wouldn't.
Somehow we have something in one of these pipes restricting our oxygen from coming out. We had that problem earlier. We had some nitrogen that had gotten in from when I set it up. I forgot to put this in, but I'm not sure what's doing it now. We got to check that out. But that is our nitric acid setup. This is the beginnings of the other setup. I will explain it when we get it completed. It only took so long to get this one done because I wanted to test it out. I've built this setup quite a few times now, and most of the time I build it on camera and things don't always work out exactly right. So this time I decided we'd build it off camera, test it well, make sure it's working, and so far this is just running itself. And we are still only running mainly off of our boiler over there, and everything that we have running stays. We're keeping up to power. I do believe we got a buttload of, we're full up on charcoal. So our 1 bronze boiler is running our entire factory.
Hey, so while you're in here,
yep,
here you go if you ever need it.
Oh, there's where the cactus is. I was looking for that earlier. The only other thing we have powering our base is 1 LV diesel gen up there and 1 LV gas generator up here. And the gas generator never has anything in it. It burns through the methane we do put in quite quickly. And the diesel gen keeps running out because we haven't gotten everything quite right with the ethanol setup. We've got so much mulch, unless she's going to put a void on there, we're never going to use as much mulch. Or unless she's going to set up a crap, now I can't think of what it's called. Give me a sec.
peat?
Yeah, a bog earth setup and make peat out of it. We're never going to use this much. Because we don't need humus. And the only way to make the bog earth is through a carpenter. I thought there was a mixer recipe for it, but apparently not. It'd be nice if there was. I'll have to say something to Bloody about that. And I don't believe you can use it in the... Nope, you can't use it crafting. So the only way is if we set up a carpenter to do it. But, you know, we've been making biomass out of it, and we've already got a full drawer of it down here. So we got to get that taken care of. And we also have gotten up to diligent and unweary bees on that side, and noble, and just barely got a couple majestics. So bee wise, we're getting there. I'm doing it the hard-headed, as NetMC would call it, dumb way. I'm not using a beealizer. I'm just crossbreeding them and trying to get the species I want. I'll worry about traits later. He's supposed to teach Crazy how to do bees, so she's not learning from me the bad way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully one of these days I can get over to Andy's base and show you guys what he's been doing. I'll drag Crazy along so those of you that watch from her side can see as well. But that's what we have going on here. Anything else you want to add this week?
Nope.
Oh, by the way, this other setup we're doing is all so she can make circuits easier.
Yep.
Because she is hating advanced circuits. She's like refusing to make any more until I get this done. Because we're trying to make the epoxide stuff so she can make the circuits. You want to show them the circuits you're trying to get to?
I can. I hope you guys aren't hearing my dogs.
I'm not hearing it on my side.
What circuits am I trying to get to?
Look up the epoxide plate.
He expects me to know how to spell epoxide.
EP. OXID.
We are trying to get
This epoxide circuit board.
to do the integrated processor.
Yes.
Or the processor assembly. Ooh. That's gonna
This is the actual recipe. On mine it's page 2. Because to do the first one that has the SMD resistor, SMD capacitor, and transistor, we have to have another material. So for right now, we're trying to do this one that has the regular resistor, capacitor, and transistor. The reason for that is we can make all of these things. Oh crap, we can't do the capacitor. Oh yeah, we can. That's polyurethane. That's plastic.
Uh-huh.
We can do that one. I thought that was the other one. There's a coil that we can't do. Or I thought that was a coil at first.
It's the small. No, we can do a small coil too.
Yeah, but that's what I thought it was until I clicked on it and I seen the thin polyurethane. I thought that was the stuff that's needed for the SMD capacitor, which is polysiloxane, which we don't have a way of making yet, which needs a HV assembler. And it sounds like your dogs are getting ornery, so we'll probably have to wrap this up.
Uh-huh.
This is the recipe we're trying to get to. Next time, we should be here showing this unless we go to Andy's. Have a good one, guys. If you have any questions, let us know.
Bye.
Bye.